Good afternoon. I'll start with a very simple question. Who do you think can get brain cancer? Every single person in this room, including you in the back and you in the front. But don't worry, there's a treatment for you. Tumor treating fields. All you have to do is shave your head, wear these huge patches that are connected to this 5-pound bag that you have to carry with you for 16 hours a day. And when you sleep, you just don't get any treatment. So you can see how this is hugely incompatible with day-to-day life. And isn't it worth it for our patients to do better? We make it worth it. Our device is battery pack free, it is wireless, it gets implanted at the time of surgery, so you wouldn't even know that it's there. We've already done preclinical tests in animal models, we've shown that it works, and it gets powered through this little battery that you wear behind your ear. Now, what started as a simple idea in the Department of Neurosurgery at Mayo Clinic got expanded to a stellar team of engineers at Arizona State University, and more recently to the University of Minnesota, where we'll be implanting these devices in pet dog models that develop spontaneous brain cancers within the community. Now, we don't need to prove that tumor treating fields work. They're already approved by the FDA for brain cancer and lung cancer, and they're in multiple late-phase clinical trials for several other cancers. Now, you might say, well, not so many people get affected by brain cancer. Well, you're right, but what about lung cancer? What about gastric cancer, hepatocellular, and ovarian cancers? What about any other solid tumor that is actively proliferating? So if you have brain cancer, you want to be treated with this, not this. Thank you.
Hi. My first question is, what is the cost difference between the traditional approach and this approach? And when you say that you're getting good results with animal models, what do you mean by that? And what is the experience of the patient and all that?
Absolutely. That is a great question. I'll go back to this diagram. So this is the only commercially available model in the market right now. So what we're doing is an alternative that bypasses all the limitations with the current model. Now, when we say that we've tested in preclinical models, all we have to do is show that we're able to generate these alternating electromagnetic fields in animal models or larger animal models, but we don't need to prove that the fields itself work because that's already FDA approved.
So do you have data on the outcomes of the treatment?
Yes, there haven't been any adverse effects related to the treatment at all. And then the main limitations of the current treatment is heat generation through these patches, as well as contact blistering dermatitis, which our device gets rid of both of those.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I have a question about, nice job. I have a question about the need to move, because with the configurations available today, you've got the ability to stimulate, or put the field in lots of different locations, right? And so by implanting something, you're going to be limiting that ability to move it later. And so how much adjustment do they do afterwards that you might have some restrictions?
Absolutely. That is a great question, and that was a limitation that we had to think about starting off with our device, because what we had initially proposed was a pair of wire electrodes, but with introducing more wire electrodes, we're able to encase tumors and make it more personalized to the person suffering with the disease. And in that way, we're able to encase the tumor so that we have a tumor in a box, and in that way provide the sufficient personalized treatment.
I've got two questions on this. It seems really interesting. The first is, how does this compare with Neuralink, which Elon Musk is trying to develop with implantable chips? And the second is, do you have an animal model that this can be tested out on? And I'm assuming it would have to be a large animal model.
Absolutely. So I've passed around some of the prototypes in a Petri dish. Those are the models that we've used in a rat model and were proven to work. And now we're in the process of implanting those to pet models, but essentially would be the same prototype. And then to your question with Neuralink, those are primarily stimulators, for example, for epilepsy and stuff like that, whereas we're delivering the tumor treating fields for cancer therapy.
sorry, what are the efficacies of similar devices to date? I guess I'm just not familiar with this field. And then secondly, compared to your rat studies, have you compared one-to-one, or like what's new about your tech that might be replicated or
Sure.
might replicate what's already been known and done?
That is a great question. I'll answer this briefly in that this is the only model available, right? And then when we talk about tumor treating fields, it's basically talking about radiation. Radiation doesn't change. You just license the device that delivers radiation, right? So in a way, the way that the tumor treating fields work, and it is not only applicable to brain cancer, but applicable to any solid tumor that is actively proliferating, is that what they do, we have these specific charged particles within the actively proliferating tumor cells. Now, tumor treating fields are able to target those because of the high rate of proliferation. Now, by interfering with those charged particles, they're able to arrest the cell from proliferating in the level of mitosis by stopping the spindle assembly and essentially causing cell death. So in this way, it's applicable throughout all solid tumors.
Are these devices removed at the end of the treatment?
Yes.
So that would be an additional procedure then?
Excuse me?
That would be an additional procedure to remove it?
It can stay in space and then you can turn it off. They
Okay.
don't really matter. They get engrafted within the dura
Sure.
or on the surface of the organ, so it doesn't really matter whether you take it off or out.
So long-term chronic placement in someone's head after you're successful in treating their cancer is is okay.
Yes, absolutely.
Excellent.
Thank you.
Thank you.